Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Finally gonna start get going on some real woodworking here. We're gonna start by cutting the tenons in the center portions of the legs, because that's gonna drive what the mortises are in the feet. I cut a test piece here, and those shoulders are only gonna end up being about 1/8 of an inch, and that's because I want a healthy tenon in the foot and in that table support. So there'll be plenty on the sides, but my shoulder is only going to be about 1/8 of an inch on the sides. So I've set up my depth, I've set up my crosscut sled, I've set a stop block. So I'm just going to go through and cut all these shoulders, and then I'll come back and reset up. I'll put the dado stack in, and I'll trim all the waste out, and then we'll come back and clean up those shoulders. So I've reset up the table saw. Before I go to the dado stack and clear out that waste, I went ahead and left the stock blade in, set up the Incra at that, and set the fence to that setting. And then I've moved this up to 1 inch instead of 1.5 inches like the drawing called for. I want a healthy tenon in there, and I'm going to clear off that shoulder before going to the dado stack and clearing out all the waste. Okay, I've set up the dado stack, I've set the fence, I've adjusted the height on a scrap piece, and now I'm just going to hog out that waste. Okay, so I've got the dado stack raised up to take these little shoulder pieces off, and we'll get them taken off and we'll move on. So my tenons came out to be about 1/2 inch. I've got a 1/2 inch upcut spiral bit, and I've already laid it out on here. I've got a dual edge guide set up so it can't walk on me one way or the other. And we're going to route this out and do a little test fit before we go to full depth. And that's going to be a good fit. Okay, so now I just got to square up the ends, and these will be good to go. And that ought to get her. Okay, it's really the same setup for the upper support pieces. All right, well there's all the mortise and tenons on the feet, and the upper supports all fit, and they fit nicely. Next up, we're going to go ahead and start carving out some feet and start carving some shapes in those upper supports, and start seeing where they fit on the tables. Alrighty, well they're all roughed out. Just got lots of hours of detail work now to get those cleaned up, and then we'll go after the center legs. We'll cut the mortises and get the curves put in those, and maybe with a little luck by the end of the day we'll be ready to glue up those legs. Okay, so I just created a simple jig here to locate the mortises for the stretcher. Simple jig. It's made to fit perfectly. And you can ignore that first mark there. And it gives me the measurements that we need. So there's 6 inches there. And that's 7.5 to there per the drawing. And it's lined up on the center line. Because they're 8 inches wide, this is also 8 inches wide. Well, there it is with the mortise in it. Turned out fairly well. I did get a little tear out on the back where the chisel broke through, but it was easy to fix with a little super glue. And I'll just flip the template over on the other 3 and get it from both sides, and that'll prevent that from happening. So I'll do the other 3 off camera, and we're gonna call that a wrap on this video. So when we come back in the next one, we'll do the stretcher and take care of all that stuff and hopefully get the tops attached and get some finish on these bad boys. I know the wife's anxious to get them in the living room.